Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. My name is Chris, and this is We Love Comics. Hopefully, you are enjoying your way. Well, hopefully, you're enjoying your way, but also enjoying your day and your weekend. This is Monday. It is currently almost 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and got an unboxing of a Silver Age key comic that I think pretty much now is going to be the time to be buying it. Uh, Deals are always out there, so I always tell people don't always wait until the last second because you can find or make deals, which I always do. But I think now's the time with certain situations that are going on, where this book might be a little bit cheaper than normal and is the time to pick it up. Most people will be doing the opposite. They'll be selling books like what I'm about to show instead of buying them and not seeing them as buying opportunities. Those of you who are smart enough to know to buy low and sell high are going to really do well if you could find deals out there for this. So, while I'm waiting for people to come and see me live, if you'd like to support me on Patreon and all the work that I do with all the stray animals that I take care of on a regular basis, and trust me, it's been interesting the past week. It's been over 100 degrees every day with the humidity. So I've been making sure they've been getting extra water, putting it in their food and taking care of them more. So any support helps. You can go to patreon.com/we love comics. You'll get your name up on this board. And if I get up to 20 paid members, I got giveaways I want to give away. So shout out to Sith Lord, Michael, Kevin, Dan, Herbert, Annabelle, Jason, Kim, Blessed, and then the last four. Check out on YouTube, Kendall Kid Comics. Check out on Instagram at ScottWU077. Check out on Facebook, Stephen L. Turk, author. And then last but not least, on Instagram at Silver Age Surfer _comics. So if you want to pause this right there to see the giveaways, we get to 20 paid members, and any given month, I will ship all around the world, and I will pay shipping and handling for one of my uh, paid members. We'll do a contest once we get to that level. So let's put on the video camera. Team No Sleep, I don't think I've seen you here before, or it's been a while. Says good afternoon. Same to you. Hopefully you are enjoying your day. Not technically a box, but they would not write fragile, so they wrote Fragile on it. Don't bend, and they were nice about it. But if anybody knows what the word Fragile is, let me know. I forget. But hey, I'm sure the person that was mailing this had the good intentions of writing fragile. Close enough. All right, so this was actually an auction. So this was not a buy it now. This was not a best offer. I was actually the only bidder, which I was surprised about because this is not a generic book. Now, it is a little bit, it's a lower grade, in my opinion. I mean, I'll have to see it now, but from what I saw from the images and what they disclosed, looks like about between a 3 and a 4, probably a 3.5. But what I want people to do, whether you're watching this live or watching this later on, make sure you get your eBay app open. I want you to look up this comic in roughly, let's say 3.0 grade, just to be safe. And I want you to put either in the live chat, if you're watching live, or in the comment section later on, you can pause the video, of what you would have paid for this book, the maximum amount you would have paid. Now remember, eBay charges not only shipping and handling, but also taxes. So this looks pretty good. So it does have a rip on the front cover, which I knew, but it's only one tear from here to here. So that's the only major problem of this book. Now there's a person what they were trying to sell it for, I guess at some point, or maybe they bought it at that price. I don't know. There's a price tag on it. So let me remove that. But overall, it looks pretty good. There's a little bit of a rip here, but that's only about maybe a ½ inch. But like I said, I knew about the tear. Looks good. If anybody wants to make a prediction. Oh, and by the way, if you want to critique my AI art, by all means, both positive and negative, I appreciate anybody's opinion. Thought I'd do something different. So if you appreciate it or hate it, put it in the comments section. That's for the auctions. We don't have to worry about that. So let's reveal the book. GT Key Comic is here, one of my moderators. Welcome. Good to see you. So here we go. And I have several copies of this book. This is Silver Surfer #1, not his first appearance, of course, but it is the origin of the Silver Surfer, his first solo series on his in his own title. Now, like I said, I knew this from right around his calf muscles straight down. There's one little tear. So that goes only on the cover. So it doesn't affect any other pages. You can see the colors look really good. Right about, like I said, here, you can see it's uplifted a little bit. That could be fixed, but you could see there's a little bit missing right there, about half an inch. So I would say this is probably about a 3.5. Of course, you'd have to look at the whole book, but considering it's square bound, I mean, it's nice and flat. So a lot of these square bound books tend to be like you could see these words when it's faced this way. So this is in pretty good condition for a lower grade. GTK Comics says, Chris, you were paid a very nice compliment on live stream. The Great Legends show confirmed how you were the pioneer of the comic auctions. Oh, that's nice. Do me a favor. Send me the link. I want to leave him a comment. If you could put a timestamp also on that, because that's nice of him to say. Because that's actually surprising because I don't get credit anywhere in the comic book community. And yeah, and shout out to the Great Legend because he's a cool dude, funny dude, got great personality, and that's really nice of him to say that. So if you can post the link, put it in the comments section, not the live. But if you can maybe do a timestamp, I want to leave a comment thanking him. So that's very nice of him. So Great Legend, if you ever watch this, thank you for that, and GTK Comic, thank you for letting me know about that. That's nice to hear. So let's see if you guys, if you check, because I don't want people to assume, because that's how people overspend or miss a good deal of a price. Because, like I said, this was an auction. I was the only bidder. So I was the only one that saw the potential of this book. So I want people either in the live chat or in the comment section. And like I said, the best bet is look at what are roughly around the 3.0. I think this is a 3.5 in my opinion, maybe even a 4.0, because, like I said, the colors really pop. But there are those two, I would say this is, I can't call it major, but it does have the tear going down. And then you have the little piece that's folded up, so it's not missing. So I can fix that. But of course, it still would be a little tear. I would say it's about a 3.5. What would be the highest you would have paid for this if you were doing the auction? It wasn't a buy it now or a best offer. If you saw this as an auction and there was a minute left and you had time to bid and you were going to put your maximum bid, what would you have put? So if you're watching this later on, you could put it in the comment section. You could pause the video because I'm going to reveal my price. And the reason I always tell people to look it up on eBay. Now, don't look up what people are selling. Look up what has been sold. So this way you get an idea. And I want people to get used to doing that. So if you see, you know, a last minute auction about to close or a brand new auction with a buy it now price, you can tell almost quickly by verifying previous sales. Is that a great deal? Is it worth bidding on? Is it worth making an offer on? Or is it way overpriced? The faster you know that, the more likely you are to win. So, if anybody wants to do it in the comment section, I paid with shipping and handling and taxes, because I always include that, because that is part of the price that you're paying. I spent only $262.15 on this book in total. I won it for $250. So with taxes and the shipping cost, it came out to $262.50. In a 3.5, this book is worth roughly between 350 and 400 if I can remember off the bat. But obviously, I looked it up at the time and I'm going to look it up again because obviously, what was last week, as far as the price is concerned, does not mean it's going to stay the same this week. Now, with the interesting scenario of the Fantastic Four, and I was telling people I didn't like what they were doing with it months ago. There's a lot of people starting to see that Marvel and Disney have not learned their lessons yet. But like I was trying to tell people is that this movie already started like a year or two ago when DEI was still a quote unquote popular thing with certain politics. So they already had probably the majority of it already done. So there's not much they can do about it. I think the way you can tell if Disney and Marvel are done with their DEI nonsense that the majority of people do not like, I think it will be starting to movies they're making now, where they're starting to make them now. They're starting to, you know, find out who's going to be in the cast, things like that. If it continues, they're going to kill themselves and they have no one to blame but themselves. If your agenda is so important that you're willing to sacrifice the happiness of your fans, you get what you deserve. Now, I want my listeners to be careful because I love Marvel. You guys know that. I used to love watching all comic book movies because I love the DC movies. Like I've told people, you may or may not know, I watched the original Superman in 1977 in the movie theater. I went the first opening day, actually, it was the pre-opening on a Thursday night for Batman 1989, even though it wasn't called that at the time. I love superhero movies. I've pretty much watched almost all of them until recently, the past year or so, with all the nonsense they've been putting in. So I want this stuff to succeed. And I really wanted Fantastic Four to succeed. And it's going to make some money, but I don't think it's going to do well because they're really trying to push agendas that really people are, the majority of people are sick of. But that's the opportunity to buy things like this because if they do turn it around and instead the next time, if they still have the ability to do it, they put Norrin Rad as the Silver Surfer instead of a what if version of a character that was in what, 3 or 4 issues. Yes, it's canon, but I mean, you know, that's like watching the TV show, let's show my age, Happy Days, and you make a new show based on the brother that went upstairs in season 1 and never came back down again. And you base a whole new show based on that one character that nobody saw after season 1, nobody cared about. Yeah, he was in the show, but you're not going to do a show based on that character that didn't last the test of time and nobody really cared about. So if you want to see Fantastic Four, by all means, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Everybody, art is subjective. So if you think it's good, great. But if you're going in saying, you know what, I'm dying for at least an okay movie, giving them your money says that this mediocrity is okay. I won't do it. Now, I'm not telling you what to do. But books like this, because of movies like that, are going to make people want to get rid of these books or the value starts to go down and people get the not only fear of missing out in buying opportunities but also missing out by losing money and they panic sell. You can get really good prices on these things. So to get this book roughly, like I said, in my opinion, I think it's about a 3.5, but I'm going to say between a 3 and a 4, for under $300 at $262.15. To me, that's not a steal, but it's a pretty darn good price. Now, of course, I have the deal with PGX where I can get these graded for a much cheaper price than what most people can. But, even with that, I can still do well on that book over time. Now, I could literally turn around, get this book graded, and probably end up selling it for $400, which isn't a huge profit, but any profit's better than no profit. But it's looking for those deals and making them happen. Now, the person had a price tag of 295. Now, I don't know if that's what they originally trying to sell it for, or that's what they bought it for a while ago, and the sticker just remained on the bag and board. I don't know, but I paid under what they were trying to sell it for, so I'm very happy about that. So when Fox messed up Fantastic Four way back before Disney acquired Fox, I was buying all the key books like Fantastic Four 48 and 49 in multiple copies. That's when I bought my Fantastic Four #1 at a 2.5 because everybody was like, oh, that movie sucks. I've never seen it, but I didn't want to see it because I knew it was going to be garbage. And people were trying to get rid of their comics, and that was the best time to buy. And after a few years, the prices doubled and tripled. Now, this situation, we're not going to really know until the movie does come out, and they've already delayed it, which is proving that the test screenings were not good. And considering they were supposed to put this movie out in May, then they pushed it to the summer. Now it might be delayed even longer, and who knows if they delay it again. That's telling you that Disney knows that this has to be good, and they can only do so much because they can't recast and start over again. There have been movies that have done that because remember, the original movie Back to the Future, the hero was not Michael J. Fox. It was actually, I think it was Eric Stoltz. And they filmed almost the entire movie and had to redo it. So it is possible. But when you're talking a collaboration movie like Fantastic Four, and then you add the Silver Surfer on top of it to recast all of them, or even a few of them, they can't do it. So I think deals are out there and opportunities to buy the original OG Silver Surfer, whether it's Fantastic Four 48, 49, or Silver Surfer #1. Now's the time to pick it up, in my opinion, and you'll find deals. Because, like I said, this wasn't a buy it now where somebody didn't know what it was or was just desperate for money and sold it at any price. This was an auction that nobody else bid on. So nobody else saw the potential in it than other than me, and that's fine with me. So let me see. Paradise Comic says, I think they're going to do a bait and switch. Female surfer will sacrifice herself, and the Fantastic Four will meet Norrin Rad when they cross over to the 616. Paradise Comics, let's hope you're right about that. Um, I'm tired of their every time being a daughter or every time being a female antagonist or female hero, and they're all powerful with no character arc or no character development, and they're just automatically assumed to be able to do everything. I mean, like I've said all the time, the reason why I used to love Luke Skywalker, I can't stand it now. I mean, Luke Skywalker was my hero growing up. Now, Mark Hamill, he can go pasta fazool for all I care about him. He's a lunatic at this point. But what they've done to those characters, I mean, back when Luke was Luke, the real Luke Skywalker in the original movies of Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, he started out as a whiny brat. He started out not knowing anything, not listening to anybody, trying to do what he wanted. And then he paid the price for that. And then he grows up and actually becomes the person that they said he would become. So there was character development. But when you had characters like, for example, Rey, she knew how to speak to Chewbacca. She knew how to fly and repair the Millennium Falcon better than Han Solo. Um, could do everything right away, it's not fun. The same thing with Captain Marvel. Nobody wants to see a hero that doesn't have flaws. So that's just my opinion. You could disagree. And like I said, if you disagree, that doesn't mean I don't respect you or I'm going to tell you you can't watch my channel. You're allowed to have your own point of view. But if you look at the majority, there's a reason why there has not been a profitable Disney movie, Marvel movie this year, because they keep pushing these agendas that nobody wants, and they're showing it through their wallets and their pocketbooks by not going. Eventually, you can have only so many write-offs before you have to give up your propaganda and your agenda-driven narratives and say, we can't do this anymore. Because in my opinion, unless they come up with something like another Deadpool movie and I see it's like the last one, which was pretty darn good considering, I'm not going to spend my money. As much as I want Disney and Marvel to succeed, and as much as I wanted to see Fantastic Four when I first heard Disney was acquiring the rights for Marvel, because you guys know over the years I was excited about these movies, and now when I see what they're putting out, it's just like here we go again. It's almost like dating somebody that cheats on you and says they'll never do it again, and you take them back only for them to cheat on you again and again and again. How many times can you keep taking a person back? How many times can you believe them when they say they'll never do it again, and then they do it anyway? That's what it kind of feels like. So your thoughts could be different. Let me know. So, of course, today's surprise subscriber shout surpriser Let's try that again. Surprise subscriber shout out. Try and say that 10 times really fast. We'll go to all the people in the live chat. So we have Team No Sleep, GT Key Comic, and Paradise Comics. All three of you are today's surprise subscriber shout out. You guys know what to do with that. Again, if you want to support my channel at patreon.com and get your name up on this board and help support all the animals that I take care of, with including vet bills, food, shelter, toys, scratching posts, all that wonderful fun stuff that I spend my own money on, you can go to patreon.com/we love comics. Any amount is absolutely helpful and appreciated. Again, if I get to 20 paid members, I got giveaways, and like I said, I will pay for the shipping and ship it out anywhere in the world if you become the person who wins the contest once we get to 20 paid members. If you want to critique the AI art, now normally I like to throw people off base with my thumbnails. I usually do a different character than the book that I'm showing. So this time I thought I would do that and see if anybody would think it was something different. But if you thought that it was, let me know in the comments section. So thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know if you think I got a good deal on this. What was the price that you would have paid for that book? And I'll see you next video. So thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to check any of my other videos. Hit subscribe or unsubscribe. And don't forget, it's not you. It is not I. It is We Love Comics. Much love to you all. Have a great day. And don't forget to have your trolls